You're gonna let me wake up first?
You should be up. You're 10 minutes late. So you had 10 minutes, 10 extra minutes to wake up.
I'm not late if I request the extra time.
I think you're late.
No. I got approval.
I need to figure out my camera. I look too washed out.
King. I don't know. I got a very clear look at your basement there.
Yeah. This camera doesn't do the dark to light transitions too well. No, I look pasty. I look like a ghost.
You do look pasty. It's not the camera's fault though.
Yeah, but I'm tanned. I'm tanned right now because I've been spending so much time outside.
You sit inside your house all day.
This comes from
playing
someone.
Video games in the basement.
You obviously do not follow any of my social media because if you did, you would know that is 100%.
You walk around your backyard and then you pretend like you're walking through mountain trails and stuff.
I wish that was my backyard. That would be so convenient. Just walk out back there and instant trail. That'd be good times.
Do you encounter people when you go on these trails?
We do.
Yeah. What happens? You still like back off?
Yep. Pretty much. Mm-hmm. I mean, if they're coming up from behind us and they're moving faster, you just walk off the side and let them go around. And if they're coming towards us,
rocks. If you can hit them, they're too close.
Well, see, everyone's really nice and courteous on the trails. Even the cyclists. Today we were out on a trail and it was heavily populated by cyclists. And I don't know what it is with cyclists. They seem to appreciate the hiker and give the hiker a lot of room. But as soon as the hiker gets into an automobile, it's a completely different story. But yeah, no, pretty much everyone is really courteous, and I wouldn't stand one outing if they weren't. I would give up. I would be like, oh, this is for me. So the fact that everyone is so nice and courteous is a huge incentive for me.
Why have you been taking so many walks?
Well, we started about a month ago, but really to put in the time for a walk like that, where you go out in the wilderness, is it takes at least 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. You got to drive out there, then you do the walk, and then you got to drive back.
Oh, a drive and then a walk?
Yeah, depending on where we want to go. Like there are a few trails around here, but there's only so much you can see. So
yeah, that is commitment. If you're gonna like drive out there, I thought you were just like walking outside your house and then you.
No, I wish.
Let's go walk down by the river.
I wish. No, that is not the case. It's usually like we're fortunate where we are because pretty much there's a ton of trails that's about a 20 to 30 minute drive from where we are, but we do have to drive there. So it's a time commitment. Mm-hmm. And so we were going on weekends, but I've been on vacation. Going into my third week of vacation, so we've been going every second day.
Third week.
Yep. Hey, when you work at one place for long enough, they give you a bonus week of vacation. So
yeah, I suppose that's true. I wouldn't know anything about that.
Anyways, this is the wrong camera setup. There we go. Now we look awesome.
Yeah, we seem really tight.
Yeah, that was way too tight. It was way too close for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I see Eric was here, but it looks like he left. He probably
forget to click on that.
He probably got tired of our
he
banter
said,
already.
Hello.
He said hello, and then he was done. Yeah, enough. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for showing up, Eric. We did notice that you were here. Welcome everyone to episode 152 of Retro Fandango. It feels like forever since I just sat with Richard and talked. It's been 3 weeks since we
is true.
Just talked. But yeah, so here we are. And
yeah,
Richard's got his Kleenex ready.
Yeah, it was way out of reach. It's usually right down here. I don't know what it is. Start up this thing in the morning and my nose starts to run.
Maybe it's nerves.
But now, with the camera, everybody gets to enjoy me blowing my nose. Yeah. Before, I could just mute it Nobody would know. Nobody
No.
would be the
Well, I
wiser.
would know.
You'd get that private screening. Now all the internet.
Yes.
Seeing.
So much of the internet. By the way, I need to. I forgot to write that down in here. I need to speak to you about Podbean. Speaking of the internet, because our subscription is coming up again, and I don't really think we get what we need from Podbean. It's like it's over $100 for a year. Yeah, Canadian anyways. I think it was when we first signed up, it was like $80, and now it comes out to over $100. And there are like how we do this. When we started, this didn't exist, this StreamYard. There are ways that we can do this for free. We don't need to be paying Podbean. So I'm thinking of, now they say you shouldn't do this when you have a following in that and change feeds. Well, we've done that before, and the people who really want to listen to the show will come and find the show. So I'm thinking of maybe, because I think it's next month that it comes up. I'm thinking of maybe canceling the Podbean and then just going the free route.
Put it on the internet somewhere.
Yeah, it'll be there. It'll still be available. People will need to subscribe to a new feed, but it seems like anyone who really wants to listen to the show has no problem doing that.
Yeah, the 6 or 7 people who are totally committed.
I mean, Podbean is really not giving us any sort of special status or anything like that. And with the free stuff too, like Podbean, like it was so easy to put on, your iTunes and Spotify and Google Play and all that stuff. And now you can use archive.com and you'll be able to do it that way. And it doesn't cost a dang thing.
Sure.
Eric says that he is finished yard work, so he has to hop in the shower. Bye. Well, Eric, if you want, I can send you the link to this, and I'll add you into the call. And, if you're in the shower, that's fine, too. Just bring Cameron into the shower. We need ratings.
Yeah, you can't just drop that image of sexy and then walk away. I'll be in the shower. Cut. End scene. No.
It's like he tore our heart out. Okay, let's do the house cleaning. Quick Save Club is playing Antichamber for another few more weeks. And then next month, we're playing Fallout New Vegas. Then after that, I guess it's Torchlight 2, which I see is going to be free on Epic Games.
That's what, at least it is for me. So
that's good. I have to put Epic Games back on my computer. I had to do a clean install of Windows 10.
Oh, you haven't been getting all the freebies?
Not the last 3. See that there's 3. There's Escape 2. And
the Escapist Part 2. Killing Floor 2.
That's right, yeah. And then there was something else.
Some other thing. Yeah. I still go through the hassle of checking in every week. I'm like, oh, okay, this is free. Click, add it to my list there, and then
it's so hard done by.
Click on the GOG Galaxy, and I'm like, okay, look at all the tile. Oh wow, it's like the majority of my games are from Epic Games now. It's just all this free stuff, and I do it because occasionally you get something like Torchlight 2,
right?
Which I hadn't bought yet, so it's like, okay, it's worth it. But then once in a while, I'll try to sit down and play one of those games, and they give away some, high quality games at times. Other times, it's like this garbage that is expensive, but it's still garbage.
Yeah.
I tried playing this one thing yesterday called Totally Accurate Battle Simulator.
Oh my goodness, that's one of the Retro Gamer Ranton's favorite games.
And it looked kind of fun. It was like, all right, you battle strategy RTS kind of thing. You pick, all right, I want some knights over here, some archers over here. Click, and it's really easy. Just click, put everything in, 2 sides, click start, and then you just watch it. And it goes by in like 5 seconds. Everybody throws spears at each other and hits each other with swords, and then and then it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations, red team won. Played that for about 5 minutes. Like, all right, uninstall. Thanks, Epic.
I haven't played it. It comes highly recommended by him though. So, but I haven't touched it myself. So.
It had a silly trailer that made it look all right, kind of fun. And for a free game, sure, you spend 5 minutes doing that.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you had the time and the interest, it tickled you just right, you could have some fun with it. But nope.
CC Prime is playing Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Nutsack.
Oh, I left that in there.
You did. Have you ever played Yoshi's Island?
That's
This
is the Super Nintendo one?
Yeah, the one with the babies.
Oh, right. Yeah, and every time Mario, like, he goes in a bubble and starts crying.
Yeah, it's Mario or Luigi. Baby Mario.
Friggin' annoying.
Yeah, I know. It's Josh, not creepy Josh, Society Josh's favorite game. I've never been.
I suppose if, and I'm not saying this to be a jerk, I'm saying this in all sincerity. If you turn the volume down, maybe you'd be able to just go through it as a platformer. But that crying is friggin' annoying.
He would just tell you to get good. If you're good enough, then they'll never fall off a Yoshi, and you'll never.
I don't know. I'm sure it's been like 5 or 10 years since I bought that game. And I was like, oh, cool, check it out. Put it in. As soon as he started crying, it's like immediately, like, yeah. I'm not playing this.
I remember we rented it, me and my buddy Frank. And Frank, of course, he was just super at all these games, and he would beat it that night. Like, he played through the entire thing. And I just sat there and watched them. I was watching Let's Plays, decades before YouTube came out. And I just thought it was the most annoying thing. And he was like, yeah, this is dumb. And we thought, wow, that's like, Nintendo's never going to bring those dumb characters back. And then Nintendo started putting out the Mario Karts and the golf and the tennis and all that. And Baby Mario's kept popping up in like every game. I'm like, what is this for real? Is this...
I've never liked those, it's the baby version of the character.
Yeah. Well, what about Muppet Babies? See, it was Muppet Babies.
I was just going to say, Muppet Babies, they had some quality episodes. They did their thing right. And as far as I know, Muppet Babies started as a scene in The Muppets Take Manhattan, or was that a result of Muppet Babies?
I don't know.
In The Muppets Take Manhattan, there's one scene where Miss Piggy is thinking like, oh, what if we knew each other when we were babies? And then they cut to a scene of all like the baby Muppets. And it's like a 5-minute song scene, and then it's over. I don't know if that came first or if the cartoon came first, which one inspired the other. But Muppet Babies, had X-Wings in it, and it was kind of cool.
Oh, it was an original idea. Nobody was doing
it at the time, yes.
And
I still have some Muppet Baby toys that I got in like a McDonald's Happy Meal. My kids play with them now.
And they would find creative ways to break the fourth wall, which was like a huge part of what the Muppet Show was as well, right?
Right.
How they would.
Well, that's the thing. It was an idea that went beyond, okay, turn them into babies.
Right.
They still had some clever storytelling devices and things. But now it seems like it's just turn into a baby. All right, it's cute. That's the whole gimmick.
Yeah. I mean, the whole show took place in that the room that they were being nannied in with the nanny.
Right, with the faceless nanny.
Right, and they would just use their imagination as they would play in that. It was really cool. But then, they became, because that show started winning a ton of awards and that, and became a really popular show. And there was just a ton of copycats. I remember there was the Flintstone kids. They were all young Flintstones.
Yeah, that's true.
What else? There was
A pup
dang.
named Scooby Doo,
Yeah, that.
which had a great theme song. Levi Stubbs singing.
Oh, I don't remember that.
That's the only part of the show I do remember.
Okay.
Oh well, that and also I want to say that I did watch some of that, um, which shocked me because I always hated Scooby Doo. I never thought that cartoon was any. It was not. It wasn't terrible. It didn't annoy me like the Flintstones or the Jetsons, but I didn't find it to be anything special.
Flintstones annoyed you too? Come on.
Flintstones was better than I hated the Jetsons.
I know. We've been
Flintstones
down that
was
road.
yeah. Flintstones is all right.
I like both the Flintstones and the Jetsons.
I think even as a kid, I couldn't stand all the stupid rock puns.
I don't know. I always liked it. But by the time those baby shows started coming around, I was more into. I was getting away from cartoons. I was watching a lot more sitcoms and that. Not that that's any more sophisticated or anything, but that's just what I was into.
Yeah.
Still
so
in
take
the
it
plugs.
from us. You want the best baby cartoons around. You listen to these 40 some odd year olds.
That's right. We know it's best. We're still in the plugs. RF Gen is playing Earthbound.
Earthbound Jim.
And I never could get into that game either.
So you're saying that all the games the other podcasts are playing this month suck?
Yeah, and I haven't really dived into our Antechamber enough. We gave ourselves like a whole extra month to play these games. I barely scratched the surface on it. I hear it's only a 4-hour game, so I really should get to it.
Nah, you don't have to give details just yet, but have you been playing any other games during this time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have. I did write it down. I put it later on. We could talk a little bit about it. Why? What's that smirk?
I'm just saying, like, there's all these games that you're supposed to be playing.
Well, that's always the way it is, right? It's the same as like I'm supposed to be watching 3 movies and I haven't watched a single one yet. I've been
you watched 27 other movies and like, oh, okay,
pretty much. And CC Portable, they rode off into the sunset. Final episode was on the Girlfriend Versus channel right now on YouTube. You go check that out over there. But yeah, Curtis did his final episode, and I was honored to be asked to be on it.
You were asked? I thought you weaseled your way in there.
I did not weasel. No,
I thought you saw an opportunity. As like, hey, this is a big moment. I want to get in on that.
Nope. I did not weasel. I was
Stick
asked.
my finger in that pot.
No, I would never. I would never do that. Not to Curtis, anyways. But it was a good episode, good solid episode, and I recommend that you check it out. In the audio version will be up on the CC channel at some point.
Happy trails, Curtis.
Maybe we could weasel our way back onto that channel. That'll be some free. We'll have to pay for any hosting fees on that.
Weaseling sounds good.
Yeah, weaseling our way back onto because now they don't have CC Prime. So what about some Retro Fandango? Although we're a weekly show, I don't know if they do that. I don't know if they do. They wouldn't be able to handle us every week. We're too much. We'd be too much for them. But anyways, it was good show, and I think Curtis went out with a bang, and he might bring the show back once in a while. Who knows? He might if it tickles his fancy. But go check it out if you haven't already. Fandango this month for July is the Josh and Curtis Treehouse. We're watching Attack the Block, It Follows in 8th grade. I still need to put those movies in the folder. Usually I do that at work because the internet's so much better there.
so nothing happens when you're not at work.
So
your hobby suffers.
Here's the thing. It's this weird thing. Every time I try to upload something into Google Drive here, I got to reset everything.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I put it in, it's like it freezes. I got to reset my computer. I got to reset the modem. I got to hear Sarah, is the internet down? And I have to say, yes, I got to reset everything. Okay. And then, reset. Then I got to tell her it's back. And then I bring my computer back on. And then I could put it into the Google Drive folder and it works. Every single time. I don't know why. And next month, we're asking people to give us some recommendations of some Netflix movies. These are movies made by Netflix, produced by Netflix.
Oh yeah,
Not just movies that are on
I want to
Netflix.
have different genres of movies, so I would like people to let us know their suggestions for action, sci-fi, comedy, and drama. And
What
then
about
from those, I kind of want to just see what looks cool and pick those.
documentary? Is documentary
Do they do
okay?
documentaries, or are
Oh
they
yeah,
just those stupid, like obnoxious, the toys that made us and blah 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 blah, that kind of
Tiger
garbage?
King. Tiger King's. I don't know if they
Yeah,
do.
well, that's like a series. I want
Yeah, I don't know if they'll
one
do a series.
solid thing. All
Yeah.
right, sure. If there's a good documentary that's a one-shot deal,
All right.
a nice hour and a half to 2 hours.
So there you go. You have your assignment, people.
Mm.
Okay, that's it.
I saw that Hodge really enjoyed that Uncut Gems.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's a weird. I'm not gonna sing. I didn't want to single out Hodge on this, but because a lot of people do this, but it's a weird thing that people do, and I don't know if people know this about me, but this is something I never do. I never do this out of respect for people. When people recommend something to me or say, "Hey, can you watch that?" or whatever, or "Hey, I think you'd like that. Can you watch it?" I never ever go out of my way if I don't like it to tell them that I don't like it. I just never do it. I just keep it to myself until they ask me. If they ask me, then I'll say, "Yeah, I watched it and I didn't really care for it." Or if somebody posts that they like something, unless it's
Mm.
Josh, Society Josh, I do like to bust his chops a little bit because he really likes Star Wars or whatever. So I'll pick on him because I know he can take it, and I'm just messing with him. I really don't love Star Wars, man. Go for it. I don't care. But anyone else, I don't like. I actually, I'll tell you. I'll be honest right now. You know who taught me this lesson was Lo Burton, Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Remember her? We talked about her a little
910
bit.
low.
Yeah, we talked about her a little bit, and on the final episode of CC Portable. But she was, I think, was it Uncharted 3? I think had just come out. One of the Uncharted games had just come out, and she tweeted about how much she's enjoying the game. And I respond on Twitter. I'm like, I don't really like those games. I hate Nathan Drake. Blah blah blah. All this stuff. And she's like, yeah, okay, that's great. Can I just enjoy my game? And I'm like, you know what? She's right. Like, why am I telling her how I don't like her game? Who cares?
Yeah.
She's enjoying it. Who cares? I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to leave people alone. I'm not going to bother with them. I know people they don't believe me right now. They're probably going to go check my Twitter feed and pull out all
That
the
was my
times.
first. That was my first reaction.
Yeah.
I was checking my catalog here. I was like, well, what point did he do something like that? How can I correct him? How can I show him he's wrong and put him in his place?
No, at least from that point, that was like 2000 and I don't know, whenever Uncharted 3 came out. I'm pretty sure it was Uncharted 3. But I've always kept that like, I'm like, no, I'm going to keep that to myself. Unless it's something like, I'm messing with, Society Josh or maybe Duke. Sometimes I'll do it with Duke, but I'm just having fun with him. But I would never like especially when a game just comes out or a movie just comes out and they're really just enjoying it. Like even the Star Wars, whatever, I just leave them alone. I let it out here. I'll talk to you about it.
Oh yeah, it's setting me off. I'm like, I've heard a few opinions,
but I won't like if somebody's like, "Oh, I really enjoyed the new Star Wars movie." I'm like, "Well, I haven't seen it yet. I have no desire to see it." But I wouldn't like not attack. I don't want to say attack, but I wouldn't like start in with them on Twitter on how all the Star Wars movies suck, unless they ask me specifically, unless they reach out to me first, or say something to me first. Then I'll say,
right. You don't start by pooping in the punch bowl.
No. But if they ask me, then I'll point the poop out in the punch bowl. I'm like, well, it's right there. If you just move the limes and lemons out of the way, you'll see the poop right there.
Big old poop.
Yeah.
You know what? Those are the kind of life lessons that that's really what you get out of school in general. I mean, you get general information about different things and stuff, but the stuff that really sticks with you is when you screw up and somebody points it out to you, you make that mistake, and that's when you really learn something.
Yeah.
I had Spanish in high school, and every week we would have tests, and the instructor, Mr. Fernandez, he'd give us these booklets. We do all of our quizzes or tests in those, and they were all arranged in alphabetical order, and we had to sit in alphabetical order, and I was the first chair in the first row. So he would put the whole stack of books there, and then I'd have to take the ones from my row, pass them back, and then take the other booklets and pass them to the next row, and then,
I remember
we
doing
would
that.
collect them the same way. And one day he was really upset about something. He was just obviously aggravated. He's, fuming, coming around, and it's time for the quiz, and he throws those things on my desk, and I look at them, and they're out of order. Like they've never been out of order before. And I'm kind of panicked because I know he's upset, and I'm looking at him like this is going to take time to go through these and put them back in order. And everyone behind me and to the side of me is like, "Hurry up! What's going on? This guy's gonna lose it!" And like, I'm trying to like, and then I really was panicked, and I saw my own as I was like flipping through them, and I was like, the pressure was too much, so I took mine and I passed the whole thing behind me, and then he saw me do that, and that's when he lost it. He came back over, grabbed those booklets, threw them back on my desk, and he got in my face and said, "You don't pass your responsibilities on to somebody else." And he slammed them down and made me do it. I was like, got it. I sat there, I arranged the things, did it. That little bit of advice is always stuck in my head. If it's your problem, you deal with it.
Right.
Don't try to pass it off. And I've had similar things in other classes. And, I'm sure I learned a couple of things at school, but those life lessons are the ones that stick out. So you'd be thankful to Professor Low-Burton there.
Yeah. No, she did. She did me a service that day, and she didn't even she wasn't calling me out on anything or whatever. She just said, "Yeah, okay, can I enjoy my game?" Like that was it. That's all she said. I was like, you know what, you're right. Leave you alone. Especially when something just first comes out and people are excited about it. They're happy.
They went and they spent like $87 on a new game, and they're enjoying it.
And it's like, go for it. Just have your good time. Whatever. Huh. All right. Should we start the show? We've only been talking for 27 minutes. So you want to get started?
Well, we got a couple of weeks to make up for here.
Yeah, that's true. Did you put this in here, Rain, or did I forget something?
No, I put that in there, and I'm going to say sorry to those people out there who were eagerly anticipating the last Fandango, which came out a bit late. But I had a rough week. A couple of things. A lot of work stuff to do. It's kind of like a test season, and we're dealing with the whole Corona thing still. So it takes a lot more time to do all this stuff. But on top of that, right now in Japan, it's rainy season. And usually rainy season is mostly in June. We get a couple of weeks of just a lot of rain and clouds, and it just happens. This year, it's particularly bad. We're going into the third week of July now, and it seems to have ramped up over these past 2 weeks, where we have just gotten constant rain. We're getting pounded. Now, where I am, it's not at the danger point yet, but about an hour to the north of us and an hour to the south of us, there have been flooding, mudslides, cars being washed away, people have died, there are people missing, actual bridges have been washed away from the rivers. It's a huge mess. And the cleanup is taking a lot of time because it's still raining. So everything that's getting cleaned up is still getting messed up again. And due to the whole Corona thing, there's a limit to how many volunteers are able to come in to the area. Like they're not allowing people to come from all over the country that like normally would happen after an earthquake or disaster or something.
Right.
So it's a real mess around here right now, and I don't think it's getting coverage internationally. This was like big
No, I hadn't.
shocking news to my mom. I was like telling her, if you see stuff on the news, don't worry. Like our area is okay. She's like, "What are you talking about?" Like, there's we've got people being swept away. There. So it's been a huge mess, and where we live, we're on a small hill, which is kind of a man-made hill. So we're very nervous about landslides and things shifting around. So it's been a tense couple of weeks here, but everything is fine. And like in my area, it's more obnoxious and annoying here. But like seriously, all around us there is tragedy. So. It's just like this area has been pounded so hard by natural disasters in the past few years, of earthquakes and typhoons and all this. So it's just like it's a bit much to process.
You're in the Ring of Fire.
The
Pacific Ring of Fire.
Something like that.
Yeah. Well,
Something
man.
like that.
Well, that sucks.
But so Jack Nicholson suffered for me. He took the hit.
Sure, he was fine. Well, today was the first day it rained here in a very long time.
Happily, dealing with this, it's a lot easier to understand when you complain about the snow. When it's that constant.
Yeah, it's every day. Got to go out and shovel it. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah. Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. That's crazy. No, one thing I did discover while I was out on my walks is that we do have bamboo here.
Bamboo grows quite easily once it gets its roots in.
I think somebody introduced it out into the woods. At least
somebody threw some bamboo furniture out there, and it just
I think it might have been on somebody's shoe or something like that. Some bamboo seeds or something. I don't know. But yeah. There's one trail out there. There was just tons of bamboo, but it's just small bamboo, just tiny.
But
and it's very
small. Is that even possible?
Yeah, it was only growing about that big.
Things grow like 50 feet tall,
and it's very small and wiry, like rubbery.
Huh?
I think it's stunted because it can't really grow that well here.
It's Canadian bamboo.
Yeah, it's but
I'll send you some of mine.
No, that's okay. It's good. Don't need to build any furniture.
You can build a good fence with some bamboo.
I don't know why I wanted to recommend the Rolling Stones' Still Life to people, but I've been listening to it a lot lately. And it's a live album from the early 80s. And it's before the Rolling Stones, if you go see them now, they have just tons of extra musicians. There's the Rolling Stones, and then your backup singers and people doing all sorts of fills and a full trumpet section and horn section, I guess I should say, and all that stuff. But this one from 1981, it's just them, just the band, and it's pretty good.
I get the fact that maybe you enjoy the lifestyle, you enjoy the work, and you want to keep doing it, but they could probably retire, right? They got a little money saved up.
Yeah, but it's good money, man. Like they go out and do a show and they make $1 bajillion. So
yeah, but don't they already have a couple of $1 bajillion?
I think when you're an artist, you crave like the celebrity, the fame, and
I suppose
wanting to be relevant.
Are they still producing new content, or are they just playing the classics?
The last one they did was a blues cover album from a few years ago. Yeah. I think I put this note. I meant to tell Curtis this because Curtis has been listening to the Rolling Stones a lot. I don't know why I put this note in here. Anyways, yeah, it was a blues cover album that's put out a few years ago. But the last album with new tracks in it, I don't know. Maybe 10 years ago. I can't remember.
No, they probably got enough money. They can just buy all their cocaine and floozies and have it delivered to their houses.
A lot of them do. Like a lot of them just, they're done. But I don't know. The Rolling Stones have something. Let's be honest too. It's not like as if it's hard work from them at this point. They got somebody to do absolutely everything for them. All they got to do is
Yeah,
go
they're
out there and
not
perform.
carrying their own gear or anything.
No, yeah, they're not dismantling their own kit when they're done. Someone else is doing it for them and carrying it around, all that stuff.
Show up,
So
sing the song you've sung 1,000 times, and
yeah,
go home.
like even Keith Richards, man. You watch the early Rolling Stones. Keith Richards was the lead guitarist. The solo would come on, and Keith Richards would play it. And at some point, he just said, "I don't want to do solos anymore. I'm just going to be the rhythm guy." And now everyone thinks he's like, you see any top 10 list of rhythm guitarists from any magazine or website or whatever, and Keith Richards is on it. He convinced everyone that he's a rhythm guitarist. When really, I think he just got lazy and he's just like, screw it. I'll just play the chords. Bring someone else in to do the solos. It's too much work.
Yeah. I suppose. I wouldn't know unless I was in the situation, so can't relate.
So are these games that you've been playing? Sam and Max and Marvel All-Star something or other?
Oh, certainly, yeah. Sam and Max is a great point-and-click game. Sam and Max Freelance Police. No, Sam and Max Hit the Road. I always make that mistake.
Hit the Road.
Sam and Max Hit the Road. I think this is one of the maybe the first point-and-click adventure game that I played after things like King's Quest. Whereas, it wasn't so much point-and-click. It was like walk around and type stuff. So this is the first one I think I played where you actually had to like click on things and you had different options. And I always enjoyed it. It was a really funny game. LucasArts back in the early 90s.
Oh, that's right.
And I had fond memories of it. So years ago when I learned about all these like GOG and everything, you could get these old games. I was like, ooh, I got to get that. And for the longest time, I couldn't find it because I kept mistaking the title and typing in Sam and Max Freelance Police, which I believe was the name of a short-lived cartoon series based on these characters. So it's Sam and Max Hit the Road, and it's all about them trying to track down a Bigfoot and going around the country to all these different tourist traps and meeting colorful characters and stuff. And it's a fun game. The only thing that was slightly disappointing for me going back to it, because this is the first time I've played it since the early 90s, is that I remembered way too much of it, so that there wasn't really much of a challenge. There were a few things that I've forgotten about and took a little time, but it's a relatively short game compared to a lot of other point and clicks, but probably because I just remembered, okay, this is where you get that item, this is what you do with it. So I probably even skipped a few dialogue scenes unintentionally because I just was like, oh, I'm supposed to give this to him, right? And do it. And then, was there more story I was supposed to hear first? But it's a fun game. It's got a lot of good humor.
I hate that when I do that in a game. I accidentally skip over some dialogue or something like that. And it'll always be the dialogue where they were telling you what you need to do next. And I'm like, what do I do now? Ugh.
Yeah, well, that was a big problem in that Star Trek game when I played it and I had a rough time with it because friggin' impossible to play it without a guide. And then I went back and replayed a level that I had just finished, and I started doing the things that I knew. Like, okay, I'm supposed to put this here, but I didn't go do the dialogue first. So I wasn't able to do it. And it kind of threw me off. It was like a lot of those games, you have to be very careful about this is step one, this is step two. If you start skipping them, then chunks of the game disappear or you can't progress.
Yeah, that game can get tricky, especially since you have dialogue, then you have Spock's tricorder, and then you have McCoy's tricorder, which will get different results. So you got to look.
Which makes sense. It makes sense when you think about it. Like when you think about it logically, it's all makes sense. When you think about it as a gamer just trying to get through the motions, and gamer logic does not apply.
You're not a gamer. You're a Starfleet captain. You have to examine everything before you move on.
Exactly. Yes. That's right. So one of these days, I'm going to go back and play through that.
I still got to play Judgment Rights. I've still never played that all the way through, and there's so many little improvements in that Judgment Rights that
Yeah, I have that one too, but I'm like, I want to play the first one first.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Play through the first one. I still can't finish it though because that last mission is
Like, it's not a matter of a guide; it's a matter of like,
no. You have to
you got
shoot. I think it's
shoot
like
ray shields and all that.
yeah, and there's like 3 Romulan birds of prey that come at the Enterprise, and like just one of their photon torpedoes will wipe out your shields, and it takes a long time for them to come back, and you get hit with another one, you're done, you're toast. So it's basically 2 hits, you're done, and oh man, it's 3 of them. I think I remember finishing it back in the day, but I don't know if like I had the DOS, not the DOS, but the disc version. I didn't have the CD-ROM version back in the day, so I don't know if it was easier on the disc version or something. But
well, they had to tone it down, right? Didn't have all the voice samples and things on the disc.
absolutely, yeah. It was like that was mind blowing to me when I got my hands on the CD version, and all the characters were voiced. Like I had no idea that was that was happening. I think DeForest Kelly just had passed away when I finally got the CD, and it was like the last thing he did. And I'm like, oh my god, this is incredible.
Does that mean there are no voices and judgment rights?
Nope, it's all fully voiced as well.
Okay, so
but Judgment Rights is really the last thing, yeah. That they.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Sam & Max is a good game.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Sorry. Then the Marvel game, the one I like, and I can't remember the name of.
Ultimate Alliance?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, not All-Star. Ultimate Alliance.
Well, the one where all the Marvel guys are in one game and you can go through. I really like that game. And I know I replayed it a few years back, and I was thinking, all right, let me check this out again. And I put it on, and I remember everything I like about it, but I don't think I like it anymore.
Really?
It's a little difficult to go back to. I'm not quite sure why. I find it with a lot of those isometric dungeon dive kind of games that if I've played it and I go back to it, it feels like, oh, I got to do all this again. You know? It's like,
sure, yeah. That's only natural.
There's a bit of that with every game, sure. But I don't know. It's still fun. I understand completely why I enjoyed it. But it just feels like there's no challenge. And part of that is because you have an option at the beginning to start a new game or continue with your old stats. So my characters are like way up there.
Yeah, of course it's going to be easy.
Walking through the first couple of levels, there's absolutely no challenge. You still have to go beat everybody up. But then after a while, I was like, am I even taking any damage here? And I swore I had like God mode on or something. Because I was using my powers, levels not going down. I'm getting punched, levels not going down. So I stopped beating people up and just started walking through the level. And it's just like, if you walk far enough, you trigger the next event, and then it's like you don't even have to fight people. And I realized that, okay, I am getting hit. I am taking damage. I'm just so powerful compared to them. It's minimal. So I was like, okay. So I tried to make it a little more interesting for myself. You have a team of 4, but you can take away some of those people. So I just went in as a solo mission. You just choose one character. And then it's like, okay, but now I got way too many people I have to beat up by myself. So I was like, maybe if I bring 2 characters, that's kind of good. Because when you have all 4 characters, the computer just sends them out and they annihilate everybody. So it's like, there's not even a point. So I guess the only way to play that game is to just play it from the beginning, from point 0 and just build with the game. Otherwise, it's just broken.
Yeah, it's an RPG in a sense. It's an action RPG. So yeah,
I was just kind of shocked to see like, wow, I don't even have the patience to sit through all these cutscenes of all this dialogue. I'm like, oh, we're gonna take this nano machine and we're gonna annihilate this and blah blah blah. I don't care. Just get me to the next scene where I get to punch things.
Were you playing that on the 360?
I put that on the 360.
Because I
It's
totally
like
forgot that those are out on Steam now, and I didn't even check to see what the
they're
price
not
is.
on there anymore.
Oh no, they're done. Well, that was quick.
I
Forgot.
remember seeing them a few years ago,
Yeah.
and I was thinking maybe I get them on this, and they disappeared a long time ago. All that licensing.
I did not buy a single thing during the Steam summer sale. Not a thing.
Me neither. I haven't bought anything for a while. I think about it, and I look through, because I got my wish list, and every time there's a sale, all the same stuff on my wish list goes on sale, and it all goes down to the same discount price.
Yeah.
And I just keep staring at it over and over and over again. It's like, all right, there's the Half-Life games are $2. There's the this it's down 75%, just like last time. I didn't buy it then. I'm not buying it now.
Although
What's going on?
I did notice that Bulletstorm remake went down to like $5, and I think I bought it for like $10, and I still haven't played it. So
I did, yeah. I cracked when it hit $10 because it's still like over 40.
Yeah, it was $5 this time around.
The one I haven't bought that I'm still kind of shocked because they always give you coupons and stuff too is Ghostbusters on the old Epic store there.
Yeah, that was a $5 grab for me.
Yeah, so. It goes down to $5 on sales all the time because they give you these coupons you can add on and everything. And I was like, remastered Ghostbusters sounds pretty cool. I love that game. I was like, I have it though.
That is true. Yeah,
I could buy the remaster, or I could just play the version I have, which still looks decent to me.
It looks okay. It does look really nice on the PC.
I saw some stills, and you can see like the individual like stitching on the Ghostbusters badge and stuff. It does look nice, but in terms of sitting down and playing a game, I have that game.
Yeah, that's understandable.
But that's another game I think I still need a little more time before I go back to, because I've beaten it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah,
so
me too. I played through it a few times.
Need a little bit of a break.
I tell you that Wii version, the one on the Wii, it's a completely different game. And
yeah, I didn't believe you when you said that. I'd never heard of it, and I looked at all these cartoony Ghostbusters. Like, ooh,
it's good. It's good times. Well, what I have been doing, when I did look at the Steam sale, have you ever heard of this site called Steam Database, SteamDB? You can actually take all the games that are on sale, and you can sort them by the amount that they're discounted.
Okay.
So like I could look at all like the 90% games. You can actually see the 100% off games as well, like the basically free game.
Right.
But they'll show you all like the 90% and 85% games. They'll prioritize all that first. You can look at all through those. And I started looking through those, and I found 2 games, and both of them sounded really interesting. I'm like, oh wow, that one sounds good, and the other one, oh, that sounds really good too. And so when I went to Steam to check them out even further, they were already in my library. So that was a big incentive to not buy anything. I was just like, man, I got so many, I got stuff I really need to get to.
I don't have nearly as many games as you do on those, but every once in a while I'll look through my list and just see like, where's all this stuff that I bought that I haven't played yet.
Yeah.
And I go through and I'm like, I don't really feel like playing that. And, it just gets pushed back, and exactly the same thing. That's why I don't buy anything now, is because I've spent so much, and it's just sitting there.
You gotta.
So I occasionally try, but granted, a lot of the games in my library are those freebies you get from like Epic and stuff, and they're not always things that you're interested in, but it was free, so put it in there.
Yeah, the Humble Bundle, like the Humble Bundle comes with like a tons of games. I would buy the Humble Bundle for one game. It's like $4 for this one game, and it comes with like 5 or 6 others. I don't even know what they are, and so a lot of what is in my library are those games, and I just put them in there. Just
Can you delete stuff out of your library?
Yeah, you can hide it. Not necessarily delete it, but you can hide it.
Hide it. That at least sounds better, because it works on you mentally after a while. You see all this stuff that you're not interested in. It's like, why do I have this? Even though it's a digital thing that's not even installed on your computer. It's just you have access to it, and it's just a tile sitting there
Or
blocking up space.
or sometimes it'll be a demo. Like Steam will keep a demo in your library. It's like, I don't want
Yeah,
this in here anymore. So you can just hide it and tell it to never show me this.
maybe I should do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you want to look at it like, boom, this is it. These are the elite that
Yeah.
I've chosen to be on my desktop.
So I've been messing around with the Grand Theft Auto games, and I really was playing some Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't even remember
Oh,
why.
I got that too. That was
The new
another freebie on Epic.
Grand Theft Auto. Oh, that's right. It was. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild. Well,
And
I
the same
was.
thing. Like, download. I'm not gonna play that, but I might as well get my free game.
You might as well. So I started playing it. I was enjoying it again, and I forgot. I think it was the Jack Nicholson thing because Trevor in that game is based off a lot of Jack Nicholson. Just like you were talking, like how he plays that character, like how he's always angry and not really a nice person and that. And you just tell, like, so I think that kind of got me wanting to play a little bit of Grand Theft Auto 5. And I started playing that and I was like, man, these games, they really do take a lot from 70s movies and the 70s culture and that. And then that just kind of got me wanting to load up the original, which isn't really the original, but Grand Theft Auto 3, the original 3D one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just downloaded it just to mess with it, and I started installing the mods, and that was it. Now I'm into that game. I've been playing that quite a bit, and it's so nice because the mods improve. The aiming was atrocious in Grand Theft Auto 3. If you remember, like it would automatically point at whatever was closest. So you'd have somebody shooting at you in a crowded area with a bunch of pedestrians and that, and you'd aim to shoot at him, and it would automatically lock on somebody that was like in a completely different direction, but because they were closer to you, it would automatically lock onto that. So the mods now, like if you're playing with the mouse and keyboards, it allows you to manually aim. So if you aim at somebody, you can actually shoot where you're aiming, and it's all in HD, 4K, all that stuff.
I
60
played that
frames.
game for about 30 seconds.
I love it.
When it came out.
Yeah.
I was standing near a car and then it exploded and I died. And
Yeah.
that was it.
Well, don't stand near cars that explode.
Well, it was my first time playing. I had no idea what to expect. I was like, okay, I'm done with this. I did play a little bit of Vegas?
Vice City?
Vice City, that one. And I played most of the way through part 4. And I got into that, and I was like, I can see the appeal of these games, but yeah, I can't stay focused on it. It just becomes too much, and there's too much freedom in those sandbox games. I like my linear games. Show me where the start is, show me where the end is, I will get there.
Well, it's funny how much like isn't in Grand Theft Auto 3 that you kind of take for granted in the modern Grand Theft Auto games. Like there's no GPS. There's a map, but there's no GPS. So like there's a location and you kind of know the direction you can go into, but it doesn't give you like what street to turn down or anything like that.
Oh, you're going to get a hardcore nerd debate going here. People who love that and say it's too easy now with that GPS.
Well, I'm sorry.
You had to figure it out on your own. I'm smart enough to know how to turn a corner.
I'm not saying I'm not playing the game. I'm just saying it's a feature that has been in the Grand Theft Auto games for a long time, and it's not there in this one. So
sure,
you miss it. But I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I'm just enjoying it. Like you get a call, Mafia wants you to do something, so you drive up to the boss's place, and he gives you an assignment, and then you go and do it. If you feel like it, if you don't, and you got to save. You got to save a lot. There's no auto save, so you got to make sure that you save because the game is really janky. Like it is crazy. There's a lot of stuff that it was like one of the very first 3D. It was the very first 3D open world sandbox game of that type. Anyways, some people would say Ocarina of Time or something like that would, and of course Ocarina of Time, like the Zelda games, yeah, they were open world games, but they weren't like Grand Theft Auto, like with just so many people and all that stuff. And
right, you could do other things, but it was kind of limited to how you could do them.
Yeah, and there was a main story in Ocarina of Time where it'd be like, okay, go do this thing. Whereas Grand Theft Auto, you have like 3 or 4 different things that you could do, and none of them were side missions. They're all like main missions.
Mhm.
And I forgot too, like how you unlock, like as you play through the game, you unlock there was 3 islands in Liberty City. So as you do finish everything on one island, the next island unlocks, and it opens up the city even more. So there's
Right.
more, and as the next one opens, like you get more radio stations, and the program, there's more songs on the radio, and just fun little stuff like that. But it's nice playing it in 4K in that too, because I remember playing it on the Xbox on my small little 20-inch TV back in the day, and like I could see so much detail and everything that I couldn't see before. It's fun. I've never played through Vice City, so I'm looking forward to that again. And then my favorite one, it was Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I love that one. That one was so huge. I can go do anything in that game, fly around, all that stuff. So I like it. I like all the mafioso stuff. I love Mafia stuff. There's so many people from The Sopranos in it. Frank Vincent and Joey Pants is in it. And Michael Madison, who wasn't in The Sopranos, but he's in it. It's good. Join it.
Yep.
That's it.
Talking
That's it
about
for games.
them video games on this video game podcast.
We still talk about video games once in a while. So movies and TV. I've been watching Sanford and Son. Did you get far into Sanford and Son? Like, how much did you?
Well, there's only 2 ways I've ever watched it. Is way back when it was just reruns on TV, and you'd catch them here and there. And a lot of them are uploaded on YouTube. So every once in a while, like about a year ago, I was into it really big, where I just like Sanford and Son full episode. Right. Oop, okay, go. And you watch them all out of order.
Well, even on my DVD set, the episodes seem to be out of order. I don't know why. I don't know if they're in production order or something, but there is something goofy going on, because Fred Sanford will go away, and then the next episode he'll be back, and 4 or 5 episodes will go by, and then all of a sudden the 5th episode will be, "Hey, welcome back, Fred Sanford, from your big trip to St. Louis." It's like, what the heck? He's been back for 5 episodes already. So I don't know. Something's going on with the DVDs.
Well, there was a point when Red Fox left the show because he wanted some more money.
Yeah.
So it was like at the end of one season.
Yeah.
So there's like a half dozen episodes that he wasn't in, and the other character, Grady, came in and filled the Fred Sanford role, helped Lamont out with the junk business. And then he came back. He missed the last episodes of one season and the first couple of episodes of the next season.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had him come back. But in order to sell the season better with the audience, they played him coming back before they aired those other non-Fred episodes.
Right.
So maybe you're getting the initial air date play order.
I don't know. None of it makes any sense to me. It's all out of whack.
Well, the good thing about that kind of show is it doesn't really need to go one episode to the next.
No. And it's weird. Like sometimes he's engaged to that woman. I can't remember her name. Donna. He's engaged to Donna. Yes. But then like the next episode, he's chasing tail. He's down at the bar.
Yeah,
like,
that's Fred Sanford.
I guess so. But those episodes without Fred, where Grady took over, Sarah and I watched a couple of them, and then we kind of skipped over them because they weren't as good. They weren't very good.
They're not bad episodes. Obviously, he's just reading the lines that were written for Fred.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And then they just doctor it where it's absolutely necessary.
You could tell there was some episodes that was written with this concept in mind. There were some episodes where you could tell that they didn't know when Fred was coming back. So like it would be like, oh, he's just got like he went to St. Louis for a funeral. Then all of a sudden he's gone for 6 months. You know what I mean? Like what? How long is this funeral?
Until he gets his money.
But it made like Grady is like Fred's friend, and that's what his character is. And then to take Fred out and put Grady into that role really didn't work, because like Grady's saying stuff to family members that seem really out of place. Like, why would this guy who's just this guy's best friend, like, it'd be like me going over to your family's house, and I just like, I start being you.
The role, yeah.
Yeah, I just be you, and I just tell everybody what to do, like just how you would over there.
They had a situation. They put a Band-Aid on it as best they could. Couldn't stop production on that kind of thing. And eventually he showed up. He started getting Carol O'Connor money.
Yeah. Well, we ended up skipping them and just got right back to the Fred Sanford and got back to the funny. But
the episode where he returns,
that's the one we just watched today.
There's it was the 70s. They could say things that you can't say now.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
Well, did you see?
It got a big shock and a big laugh out of me.
Yeah. Well, did you see the one? And it was written by, oh damn, what the hell's his name? Oh, he's like the stand-up comedian. He's a stand-up comedian. He came up like around Richard Pryor's time, and a few years ago he said he wasn't going to use the N-word anymore, and that was like a big part of his comedy, because he did a lot about race and all that. But the one he wrote a few episodes of Sanford and Son. This one episode.
You're talking about Paul Mooney?
That's it. Paul Mooney. Thank you.
Yeah, he and Richard Pryor wrote a couple of those.
Yeah. So this one episode that he wrote, I don't know if you've seen it, but it was the one where Lamont gets a ticket, and Fred goes over they go over to the courthouse, and Fred is kind of like his lawyer for that episode. Have you seen that one?
Doesn't sound familiar.
That's the one you got
recently.
Let me tell you, that's the one you got to see, because Sarah and I
gets a ticket.
Sarah and I were laughing out loud. We were laughing so hard. It was so good. If you want effective use of the N-word with like social commentary about what's going on and relevant to today, big time relevant to today, like exactly what's going on today.
Well, that's the thing about that show in particular, and other shows of the time. You're All in the Family and Jeffersons and whatnot. It was largely social commentary. Yeah. They were really drawing attention to the current situation, which apparently is still the current situation.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And it was never, the language that they used was never dropped for, shock value. It was done with good intentions in mind. And a very smart show. It was number 2, right? The only thing that was beating it was All in the Family.
Yeah.
For pretty much all its run.
For a while, yeah. Now, there are some episodes that don't age very well. They do a lot of, like, anytime there's a quote-unquote ugly woman on the show, and she'll be fine. Like, she's a fine, like, she doesn't look ugly. She's not wearing any makeup. That's it. They just put her on and she's not wearing any makeup in that. And they go on about these, and it's like, okay, like Fred Sanford's no prize himself. Neither is Grady. Grady's like missing teeth. Like, come on.
Like there's this joke though, isn't it? There's
this one. I don't know. I'm assuming that it's there, but like, I don't know. They never like, in All the Family, there would be at least Michael there. That would be like the voice of reason that would kind of like explain the craziness and that. But both Fred and Lamont seem to be too much into this. But like there was this one episode where Grady falls in love with this girl, and he brings her over, and she's too ugly for Fred. So Fred tricks Grady into breaking up with her, so he can also have Grady over at his house to watch television with as well. It was just really bad, and even Lamont says, if this girl was good looking, like this wouldn't be an issue. So maybe that was it. Maybe that was the commentary right there, but I don't know. It's pretty bad.
I don't know. A couple times it makes me laugh.
Bill is in the chat. So welcome, Bill. He says he has a hard time catching these dinner hour podcasts, but this is the only time I can get a slice of Vox. This is it. This is the time. This is the window.
Dinner hour. What time is it there?
It's 10 after 6 right now.
Oof, you and you Canadians.
We eat dinner early. We eat at 5, man.
Ooh.
I see. What was it? Yeah, Sanford and Son, man. Yeah, dinner's gonna be at 7. What? 7? My goodness, what's wrong with me? I have a snack and I just go.
There's one episode where Fred and Lamont are going for a health checkup. I think it's because Fred Sanford, some episodes he's a very heavy smoker. Other episodes it's not really a thing. But yeah, he's like has to go in to get an X-ray or something, and he just suddenly blurts out, "I ain't going in there with that ugly white woman."
Yeah, there's the nurse. Yeah,
yeah. It's a bit out of touch on certain things, but still very in touch with other things.
Yep, absolutely. Still a good show. Still enjoying it. Also watched the Terminator 1 and 2. And we've been hit a lot of dog movies. Like there's a bunch of movies on my PVR, and we've been like we'd start them up, and it's like, oh, this is no good. It's no good. And we just finished, like we just stop them after a half hour or 45 minutes or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? We need to like get our need to kickstart this movie thing again. So we need to watch some classics. So
cleanse the palate.
Yeah. So I put in the Terminator 1 and 2 again. I put out a poll on Twitter as well.
I saw that, but I didn't comment.
Because I've for the longest time have felt that Terminator 2 was the better movie. But now watching Terminator 1 again, you know, even I think Curtis asked me this question too. My friend Curtis. I have Curtis's phone number, by the way, and we text all the time. We're good buddies. Unlike other podcasts who only pretend to be Curtis's friend. Curtis's real friend.
That's what happens when you show up.
Yeah, it's right here.
Make yourself a target. Should just eat that dinner.
Yeah, so I'm watching Terminator 1, and it's really good. And Terminator 2 is really good as well. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of clever things in Terminator 2, like just clever idea for a sequel. You know, have Arnold Schwarzenegger come back, but he's the good guy this time, you know. And
that, you know, they shouldn't have revealed that in the trailer.
Yeah, I know.
Because the way it's set up on film, it's supposed to be a surprise.
Yeah. Well, I saw Terminator 2 before I saw Terminator 1. I didn't even know what the heck was going on. So, but yeah, that would have been an awesome, like to experience that. Like, oh, he's the good, but that would be really hard. You wouldn't be able to show too much unless you just showed him like shooting guns at cops.
Yeah, you just have to,
you know.
Well, Terminator 1 wasn't, you know, a huge, well, I didn't say it wasn't a success, but it wasn't as big as Terminator 2. Like, it wasn't in the pop culture the way Terminator 2 was. So most people probably weren't totally familiar with, like, it wasn't this, you know, big thing. Everybody knew about the Terminator. So
yeah. Well, and you know, I find that like Terminator 2 has a lot of, it's still like as good as it is and as clever as it is at times, it has a lot of cheesy moments in it. Like these are supposed to be robots fighting against each other. And I know they set it up like, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger can learn from humans and he can become a little more human-like, but I mean, there's just a little too much humanity in these robots. Like even the T-1000 there, Robert Patrick, when like she's trying to shoot him with the shotgun to push him back into the lava, and she runs out of bullets, and he just looks up and he with his finger like that. Like that's what robot would do that, even if
he's an intelligent robot.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It's just a little cheesy. It's a little bit too cheesy. But that first Terminator movie, that's like the perfect 80s movie. It's like got every like 80s thing down packed to the soundtrack and the action and the pacing and everything.
A lot of people agree with you. There's a lot of people that prefer the first movie. The big argument I hear is that the first movie is more of a sci-fi horror.
Yeah, it's a monster movie.
The second is definitely
action.
More on the action.
Yeah.
I didn't comment because it's been a long time since I've seen either of them. And I think I've only seen the original Terminator once from beginning to end. So I have the same question myself. I'm not sure which one I would enjoy more, but it just feels a little apples and oranges. Like,
So we never did it for Fandango or
no, that's the
Schwarzenegger.
one that slipped through the cracks. We
Cracks,
never
yeah.
got the Terminator movies in there.
Because I was trying to remember the last time I had watched these when I was watching them, and I'm like,
I'm sure we've talked about the sequels here and there,
yeah.
what garbage they are.
Although I don't mind 3 as like, even though it's nowhere near as good as
It's
the
more
first 2.
disappointing than bad.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
ones after
that's
that
right.
are really bad, but
Yeah, I can't even watch anything that has followed it. I tried watching Genesis. It was on TV, so I gave that, and it had like one good scene in it.
have you ever watched the TV show, the Sarah
No,
Connor?
I totally forgot about that until Duke brought it up the other day on
It
Twitter.
was only around for 1 or 2 seasons or something.
Apparently 2 seasons. Yeah, I remember just watching the pilot and not digging it at all, and I didn't watch any more. And then it was canceled. I'm like, wow, that goes to show you that show.
I think I saw like 1 or 2 episodes. And wasn't it what's her face who went on to do all the other nerd stuff?
They were bringing up some summer
The Game of Thrones lady who was in Dread.
Oh, is that her?
She played like Sarah Connor, right?
Really?
Because there was like an older, because there was like the mother Sarah Connor, and then there was like a robot, like a female Terminator in the show.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, it is her. Cersei Lannister. What the heck's her name? Lena Headley.
Lena. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the one factoid I got about that show.
Oh, there you go. That's a good factoid.
And they later bring in. I'm glad I never saw it this far because I don't know if I could have watched it with a straight face. But one of the guys from Beverly Hills 90210 plays Kyle Reese.
Beverly Hills. Thomas Decker? Oh. Plays who? Sorry? Kyle Reese?
I think so.
Right.
Who plays Kyle Reese in that show?
Jonathan Jackson?
Doesn't sound right.
He was in General Hospital, Tuck Everlasting, Dirty Dancing, Havana Nights.
Maybe I got it confused. That's somebody from Beverly Hills 90210 was in that show.
I don't know anyone. There was the Priestley guys. The Priestley.
I know Luke Perry's name.
Luke Perry, that's the other one.
But that was not him.
I don't know. I don't remember what it was about that pilot that didn't. And I see Bill likes the show because he's going on about it, but I don't know if I could trust Bill. He likes a lot of.
Show was great. They spent dollars on it too.
So much money they got.
Spent too much money.
I don't know. There was something about that pilot. I can't remember what it was, but it was.
I know they all like time traveled and appeared in the middle of a highway, and were running around naked. That's all I remember. Vox is right. Can't think of his name. Oh, so yeah, the actor.
Guy
right?
is from. I don't. I don't.
There.
I don't know the 90210 guy.
How are you not seeing this if you're looking at the thing?
I don't know who there's the Priestley.
Who played
Priestley.
Kyle Reese? Was it that
I
guy?
told you it was just
Sarah
Jonathan Jackson.
Connor.
Jonathan Jackson played
Jonathan
Kyle
Jackson.
Reese.
Okay, maybe it was a different character.
Yeah, hot robots. See that maybe that turned me off because I don't like hot robots. I think that's stupid. Terminators should be Terminators, not robots.
Lena Headley is Sarah Connor. Thomas Decker is John Connor. Summer Glau.
Yeah, she's apparently in Firefly as well.
Oh, okay. Here it is. Derek Reese, brother of Kyle Reese. Brian Austin Green. He was on that show.
Is that the guy that's in?
I think. Wait a minute. I think I remember seeing his name. Isn't he the one? I think he's married to. What's her name?
Bill says
Megan Fox.
I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
who this is. Brian.
He was
Austin
on
Green.
that show. That's what I know.
Who is the guy that was in the Sharknado movies? That was a
I
90210
watched.
guy.
I tried to watch one of those.
Yeah, they're terrible,
Uh,
but they're so fun.
I watched the last one. I think that's what
I
it's called. The last one.
I only
I
watched the first
watched like the first 5 minutes of it. I had no
It's
idea
awesome.
what was going on. There's
Yeah.
like time traveling cars and hologram messages. And I was like, and then the big action stuff happens, and it just looks god awful. It looks like worse CG than you see on some kids'
It's
educational
intentionally bad.
programming.
They're intentionally bad.
Yeah, I sorry.
Well,
Maybe if I had gotten in the Sharknado craze when they all started, I could enjoy it. But
I watched the first one, and like it's the kind of movie that you have to watch with other people. You can't watch it on your own. You just got to watch with other people.
I imagine so.
and
It's
knock
not
it.
something you actually get entertainment from. It's
No.
hey, come look at this garbage.
So I got Sarah to watch the first one, and even though we had fun watching it because we were tearing it apart, she won't watch the other one. So I haven't seen the other ones because I can't watch that on my own. There's too many other things to do. Too much more important things to do. Okay, yeah, I was dumping on the rest of the other movies I couldn't watch. The one other good movie that I watched was a movie with Robert Redford called The Great Waldo Pepper, and it's about.
I thought this is something you made up, like
Nope.
from your garden or
Nope.
something.
I wish. By the way, my garden is. I finally got it like back. I got it back, baby. I got I got some cucumbers growing. I got some peas growing. Carrots are coming in. The very first cucumber that started coming in and started like taking shape, and I'm like, all right, that's going to be the first cucumber I eat. And then I went out there one morning, and the squirrels ate half of it.
Mm.
I hate squirrels. I'm done with them.
Well, squirrels got to eat too.
I was going to post my frustration on Twitter, but then I know that all I would get are squirrel gifts back at me. So I said, no.
You should ask Bill because he devised a anti-squirrel paper plate to keep him out of his bird feeder. Hey, it's Ryan.
Hey, Rocket Sauce. Haven't seen him in a while since the other day. Yeah, The Great Waldo Pepper. Okay, so that's a great movie. It's about these guys. I was wondering if Bill had seen it because it is about airplanes. And it's about these guys that they went to World War I. They fought in World War I. And then World War I, the one of the biggest tragedies where all these guys went to go and fight in the war. And then when they came back, all their jobs are gone. They couldn't go back to work. So they had to come up with inventive ways to keep working. That's why the women went out to work during World War II, because the guys were like, hey, I'm not going to go and fight if when I come back, my job is gone. They said, don't worry, we'll make the ladies do it. When you come back, we'll kick them back into the kitchen and you'll be doing your job. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that was the 40s mentality. Anyways, Great Waldo Pepper, these guys come back. They have all this aviation skills. They know how to fly. Even Germans would come over to America to fly in these air shows. And they would do like crazy stunts without any sort of parachutes or anything like that. They'd fly in these biplanes, and they would do the wing walking and stuff like that, and all these stunts and everything. And guys were getting killed. Like, they were dying for their craft, but it gave them a little bit of fame and a little bit of cash, and then they would move on to the next small town and do an air show just in a field somewhere too, right? Like these planes they didn't need an airport. They could just, all they needed was like a big field and go off, take off, and do all these little aerobatics and all that stuff. And then the government started coming in and cracking down because there was too many accidents and people were getting killed and all that stuff. So that's pretty much what the movie's about. It's really great. I mean, the stunt work that these people were doing, like, I don't know if these stunt guys were wearing parachutes or anything like that, but they're still like hanging off of these biplanes and that, and they're like up in the air. I would love to get a Blu-ray of this with some extra features in that, just to see how everything was done, because it was really incredible. And Sarah and I were like we were gasping. We were like, oh my God, like that guy almost, like, you could see he's hanging on and he almost, slipped in that. And that's a stunt guy, like legit hanging onto this plane. All that's great, except for this one thing. They got this one scene in the movie where Susan Sarandon's in the movie as well. And they needed something to spice up the the show a little bit because the attendance was starting to lack. So they said, hey, what happens? What if we got a woman to go out on one of the wings and we tear up her clothes a little bit, behind the scenes? And when she goes out there, her clothes get torn off and she's still in her slip and, undergarments. That this is the 1930s, right? So it's nothing too risque, but it would be risque for the time. So she goes out there to do this thing. I'm sorry, spoiler alerts for Great Waldo Pepper, but I'm not really going to tell you too much what's happening, just a little one. She goes out onto the wing and, her clothes rip off and all that. But she needs to come back into the plane so the guy can land the plane, right? If she doesn't come back, like the wing is lopsided and he can't land properly, and she freezes. So she's holding on to the one of the supports between the two biplane wings, and she's holding on to it. And the movie, I guess they couldn't leave Susan Sarandon out there for all these shots and everything, so they just used like a dummy. And it's so obvious that it's just a mannequin, like just standing there, like it's not moving or anything like that. Just stuff's flapping in the breeze, and it looks really bad. It looked horrible, and it got to the point where Sarah and I we were yelling at the TV for the movie to stop showing that shot because it just kept taking you right out of it. It looked, oh man, it was so bad. But the movie overall is really good. It's a really fun movie.
I never heard of it.
I didn't know what the heck it was about. I just saw it was Robert Redford, and so I hit record, and sure enough, yeah.
So what is the Waldo Pepper? Is that the name of a plane or something?
So Waldo Pepper is his name.
Oh, okay.
It's the name of the that was his name, and so that's the name of the thing. Man, my pits are really sweaty. It's getting humid in here. I get getting the pit sweat.
Let's turn on the AC.
Yeah, well, we turned it off because it had rained, but it's getting really humid in here. Oh, Rocket Sauce is going to watch Princess Bride next. Good job. He's a fan of Andre the Giant, so he should like it.
Andre the Giant.
And he watched The Great Outdoors. That is a great movie, too. I have that on Blu-ray, so I can watch it anytime I want.
I got that on DVD.
It's a good movie.
Fancy Blu-ray garbage over here.
I was listening to SDC Pod last night, and Joe was giving Bill a hard time for watching The Great Outdoors because it's an old movie, and why would you watch that? And I had missed the previous week's episode, and I went back to listen to that, and right off the bat, he was watching the Deer Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Joe was watching The Deer Hunter, and it's like, well, that's an old movie. Like, what's the difference between watching that and watching The Great Outdoors? Like, old movies are good. Go back and watch them. Like, I don't go. Anyways, that's it. That's it from me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just want to say I'm done with WordPress.
That's it, eh?
Yeah. I realized I don't like it.
You forgot? Did you forget your login? Or
no, I just realized I don't like doing that. Sitting there and writing all these things down once a month and posting them. I still write them down. I just don't really care about posting it for. I'll do the end of the year, do it all at once. But I'm gonna post them every month because sometimes I don't want to. But I will, for the benefit of everyone else, list off every movie that I've seen that I haven't talked about or posted or anything. And then you, since we're running really late here, can choose one if you like that you want to comment on.
Okay.
You got something here. I do have some Kevin movies in here.
Okay.
So I know I'm going to get comments from you. Dune. I watched Dune.
I hate that movie.
Garbage.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Joe was watching that as well. That was his big
so weird.
Yeah.
Okay. So I talked about some of these already. So I'll just list off the ones I haven't mentioned. Pee-wee's Big Holiday on Netflix. Huge disappointment. It was
Is that the new
not
one?
a good movie. That's the one that went straight to Netflix, and it's bad for a variety of reasons.
Worse than Big Tent?
I'm sorry.
Pee-wee?
I've never seen that one.
Me neither. I just hear that's the bad one.
City Slickers.
Yeah, that's a pretty good. Yeah, that's one of Sarah's
movie.
favorite. Yeah, that's one of
Really
Sarah's
good.
favorites. Yeah.
Watched the Jack Nicholson stuff. I watched Ghostbusters 2, and here's one for you. Donnie Brasco.
Oh, nice. What'd you think of Donnie Brasco?
Apparently, I have seen parts of it before because when I got to the middle chunk, I was like, "Oh, this feels familiar." I guess I did catch this before. Pretty good. I like Donnie Brasco. It was a good movie. Um, I want to say, despite Johnny Depp, he does an okay job. I kind of wish he would do a little more mainstream acting instead of constantly doing like wacky characters and stuff. I mean, he's got a whole world of trouble right now, isn't he? Like
Yeah, I don't
abusing
know
his
what's going
wife or
on.
something.
I don't know what's going on with that. I
I
haven't
don't
been
know, but the
following it.
movie was. Just watched the sequel to City Slickers, says Rocket Sauce. I heard that movie is horrible. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I remember it not being very good. And Bill was asking where Waldo Pepper was. It was on the 70s channel. I'm really far back on my PVR, so it played back in February. So I see though that they do play it once in a while, but it's on the 70s channel, anyways.
Okay, that was June. Oh, and should point out City Slickers and Donnie Brasco double Bruno Kirby feature.
That's right. A lot of Bruno Kirby. He's in a lot of comedies.
I did notice, like when I was watching Donnie Brasco, it just felt like Bruno Kirby was there because they couldn't get Joe Pesci.
Yeah, maybe.
Possibly.
I don't know.
No
I thought
disrespect to Bruno Kirby, but
yeah, I thought he did fine in that movie. I thought you were going to bring up Anne Heche because she plays the wife.
Yeah, she didn't really do that much.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice you see that aspect of it, but I don't know. It was an okay movie. Paul Giamatti has a real quick scene in there.
That's right. Yeah.
Before he got famous and then became less famous again, or less in demand, I should say.
Yeah, he was the hottest thing, man. He had American Splendor.
He's a good actor.
Oh yeah,
he's a good actor.
Great, and there's a lot of good stuff.
Okay, I'll go through these quick. You can make fun of me for this one. Miscongeniality.
Sarah watches it all the time. I'm not going to make fun of it. It's got.
I had watched the Sandra Bullock movie, and I was like, you know what? She's pretty good. Checks. They
didn't like Miscongeniality.
You know, there are moments where it's actually really funny, where Sandra Bullock can play for comedy. She has the comedic chops to do like the right expression at the right time. Other times it's completely over the top and not funny. But there are a couple little moments where it's like, that smirk was really good, stuff like that.
Shatner's in it too, right? He's like
Shatner's in it. Candice Bergen's in it. What's his name? British guy, Michael Caine.
Wow,
a lot of names in there. Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson's in it. Oh, well, maybe now I need to watch it. It's got my Captain and my Ghostbusters.
In the sequel too, which looks terrible. Okay, 12 Monkeys. I tried to watch and I quit because Terry Gilliam. Yeah. Empire Strikes Back. Small Soldiers. I was curious. Not good.
No way. That's a Joe Dante joint.
That's why I was curious to watch it. And it's basically just doing the Gremlins thing, little things that are attacking and causing chaos. And one thing I will point out, they do CGI for the soldiers at some point, which looks like old CGI. And other times it's just a little animatronic that's just sitting there on the table. And obviously they got some wires going through it and just doing the basic motions. Those parts look pretty cool, of like if you just appreciate little animatronic stuff.
Well, what year did that movie come out?
98.
98, yeah. The CG was
it was
really
that
tough.
hybrid time. It's not worth it. Okay. I mean, what's his name's in it? Phil Hartman, and he's got nothing to do, nothing to work off of. And the main kid they got in there is like the complete generic stereotype 90s kid to a T. The haircut, the look, everything is just didn't age well. Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country.
Great
That was
movie.
a good time.
Yeah.
So good. You know what?
Who done it?
For a long time, like I'd really fall into the Wrath of Khan. Is like, man, I really love Wrath of Khan. It's so good. Undiscovered Country, I'm not quite sure if it's the better movie. It might be, but it definitely gives everybody something to do. Of those main players, they all had something valuable to do, and they all got to have their own moments of like accomplishing something. Maybe Chekhov was a little weak. He's kind of played for comedy in that one. But you think back to some of the other movies, and like poor Sulu is sitting there like, "Aye, sir," raising shields. Like those are his moments in the movies.
Well, they had to suck up to him to get him to show up for that movie.
Good,
big time.
Because he had a really good role in that movie.
He's been on Howard Stern a bajillion times, and he's talked about it a million times. But yeah, like he was sick. Like he would say, like, he would have lines back in even the original Star Trek series and that, and Shatner would come in and say, actually, don't you think the captain should say this and take lines away from, which is just a nasty thing to do to actors. So he got fed up with it. He didn't want to show up for Star Trek 5 because Shatner was directing that one. It was Nichelle Nichols who got him to come back for that one. And then 6, he wanted no part of it. And then, that's how he got the role of having his own ship and becoming the captain and all that.
They didn't share any scenes. There's one shot at the end where they're in the same room, but they don't say anything to each other.
Yeah. And that was the only way that they could get him back. And he was awesome in that movie. I always thought that Excelsior crew would have made an awesome TV series that they could have spun off into. But it is what it is. But yeah, 6 movie. Is very good. 6 is like, I think it would be, I don't know. I keep going between 2 and 6 as my second favorite, because my favorite is still 4. I love the whales. 4 is the best.
4 is good. I think I want to see them in space. 4 was a good movie for what it did. It's very good.
It's got the comedy. It's got a great Star Trek idea. They go back in time just like they did on the show all the time.
I want to see that Enterprise. And I love that those shot. They got the director back from Star Trek 2. And when they finally get the torpedo ready, they do that shot of Kirk moving forward to the camera, putting up his fist. Fire!
Yes.
It was great. It was that visual style of just like get that movement in there.
I was Nichols directed that one too, right? What's his name?
Whoever did the second one, I forget.
Yeah.
Meyer,
that's it. Nicholas Meyer. He did. And that was his big thing, right? It was that he wanted visual things in there, like
the pulling the grates up to get the torpedoes going and all that.
You want to show stuff because it wouldn't make sense in the future. In the future, you just tell a machine to do it, right? Right, but it doesn't look good. It's like the turntable in movies. No one has a CD player in movies.
Oh yeah, when they're getting attacked, you got people like running through the halls, shutting doors, steam coming out.
Yeah, it's like what? You couldn't just hit a button and it's the future? Nope. Gotta make it look like an old ship.
Force field. Beep. Yeah.
Everything's the power is being all used for the shields and the weapons. So you got to do everything manually.
Okay, another Kevin movie here. Let's see if you can. We're gonna bring back quotes. Let's see if you can guess your movie.
Oh no!
From now on, I want an equal number of blueberries in every muffin.
Oh, what is this movie? That sounds very familiar.
You've seen it. De Niro said it. Oh, you're blanking. You say you love this movie. Casino.
Oh, I haven't seen Casino in a very long time. I do need to watch this again.
You actually materialize torpedoes. Thanks, nerd.
What the hell is he talking about? Materialize torpedoes. I don't know what he's talking about.
I watched Casino. Casino was good. It's good. It didn't quite hit the.
It's not Goodfellas.
Yeah, it's not Goodfellas, but it's good. And I imagine extremely difficult to film in a casino with all the lights and reflections and everything you'd have to take into consideration. So, there's some really great shots in there, and the characters are great. Could have done without the Joe Pesci love scenes. It's a little awkward.
Yeah, I love Don Rickles in that movie too. Like just playing a serious role. It's like
he doesn't have a lot to do, but he's in there.
Yeah,
he's used effectively. A lot of times I was wincing though, hammers and vices and stuff, and it's just, ooh, I was flinching. Some of the graphic scenes.
Yeah, it does get violent.
But that was fun. And then Blades of Glory, and I just watched Freddy versus Jason again last night because I did.
Wait, you just skipped right over Blades of Glory. Is that the one with?
I'm just trying to hurry through, but
That's
that's
the one with
the
Will
Will Ferrell ice skating movie.
And what did Vox give that on?
Oh, I think that movie's funny. I really enjoyed it.
I honestly haven't seen it.
I saw it many years ago, and I thought it was great because my wife always watches figure skating, and I thought for them to just make fun of this whole sport was a really clever idea. The expressions sell a lot of the comedy, and there are a lot of awkward scenes of two guys figure skating together. And I watched it again the other day, and I was still laughing out loud at some of the scenes. So
Will Ferrell is very hit or miss with me, and he's more miss than hit. So
I'd say that movie is worth 90 minutes of your time. It's a short movie. You got some good supporting characters with Will Arnett and Amy Poehler. You got some mediocre performances by Jenna Fisher from The Office. She's Pam in The Office, and and Napoleon Dynamite. John Heater's in it, and he you can see why he didn't really make it as an actor. He doesn't quite deliver.
He's a one-hit wonder.
All the time. He's good for the role, but there are some points where it's like, he just doesn't have that oomph to deliver this material.
I mean, he did. It was really Napoleon Dynamite, and that was it, right? Like that's pretty much.
As far as I know, I mean, I'm sure he's gotten other jobs since then.
Yeah, he's had other jobs.
Napoleon Dynamite became a big name. Got into this movie. It was like, hey, look at you. You're second level on like a big, Hollywood movie. And then I think he went back to the independent stuff. So he just got to, hey, I got a shot at the big time for a little bit. I don't know. I think it's a funny movie. It's Coach. Coach is in it. Craig T. Nelson.
Oh, nice.
And they call him Coach because he's a coach.
You have to.
That was a good show. You ever watch Coach?
Oh, yeah. Jerry Van Dyke was like
He was great
in that show. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't watched it in a long time, but yeah, it was good.
He had those comedic traits too. I remember one time he's eating like a thing of Chinese food. He's got the little container, and it's they introduce him to somebody. It was like trying to introduce him as like, oh, here he's the assistant coach. The whole thing just dumps out into his lap, and I don't know. That was a funny show.
Yeah,
except for the end when they changed it from the Screaming Eagles to he got like a real NFL gig.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. I think I stopped watching.
It didn't really make a difference. It just they changed all the sets and everything. And by then it was like in season 10 or something. Like there's no reason to try to stretch it out anymore.
Hey, it's just syndication money at that point. Like the show itself probably doesn't make any money, but they're just cranking out as many episodes so they can get more money from syndication. It's pretty much why The Simpsons still kick around, because the more episodes they crank out, the more money they can get from syndication.
Been a long time since I watched The Simpsons.
Me too. So Bill says, don't load photon torpedoes, just transport them into the tube. But then you don't get that shot of Kirk or not Kirk, Bones and Spock lying over the torpedo tube as they operate on it.
And what happens if your transporter goes down?
Yeah, that's usually the first thing that goes down. And what happens if you accidentally transport a photon torpedo between, the tube and the bulkhead? I got this explosive thing sitting there.
I think you should have a backup system for something like that. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I do. One other thing about Undiscovered Country, at the beginning when they're on their approach to the Enterprise, there's an overhead voice saying, now approaching vessel 1701 Alpha. And I was like, I've never heard them say Alpha or Beta or anything like that before. So technically, would you say Picard's ship is the 1701 Delta?
Yeah.
like no one ever refers to it as like the Enterprise Delta.
Yeah, you're right. We're not military, so
Yeah.
we read it on the ship and said A.
Yeah,
But yeah, I guess it would
I
be
know
Alpha.
that letter.
Right? Yeah. You know that so what was the Klingon moon that explodes at the beginning of the movie?
Praxis.
Praxis. And you know that effect that they used to that big ring that comes out.
Oh yeah, went
up.
all the way to the Death Star.
Right. The Death Star, yeah, Star Wars ripped it off, but it's still called, in the effects department, they call it the Praxis effect.
The Praxis.
So there you go. Star Wars nerds, you'd have nothing without Star Trek 6.
I can confirm we're at Praxis. I can't confirm the existence of Praxis. Sulu goes, Praxis. Points at the screen. He's so good.
Yeah, he was really
so good in that. And they have all their different setups in the movies of, the characters are finally out doing different things, right? Because the Enterprise was decommissioned. They're all, Kirk's an admiral. They're doing training. Chekhov's all on this ship. It just makes sense to keep them doing different things. At the end of the movie, you got all of them except Sulu on the bridge doing that, farewell.
Yeah.
And I was like, how did they get them all back in there again? It makes so much more sense. I like that Sulu had his own ship, and they should have had a couple others doing some different things. And I know story-wise.
It's a Star Trek thing. Yeah, it was like Riker never took captain, even though like the best first officer. There's got to be captain openings all the time. It doesn't make any sense, but it's a show, damn it.
Yeah, and they always had they did a better job at getting the characters back together in the original movies than they did in Next Generation, where they just had to keep getting Worf back there. Like, how do we bring Worf back again?
Yeah. And then bring him on to Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, well, could have done something like that.
Okay. I think we said enough. We have to wrap this up.
Okay.
So I can go eat. It's getting to be 7:00. It's way too late to eat.
Oh, are you going to be all right?
Yeah, I think so. I had a snack before we started. So I'm good.
You only need to watch seasons 2 through 10 for The Simpsons. Why would you admit season 1?
A lot of people don't like season 1, and it is a little goofy at times.
It's rough. I mean, they were finding their footing, but
I think season 1 holds
there was
up.
something
I like
there.
Season 1. I do.
They hadn't, the characters hadn't solidified into their roles just yet. They were still making changes. Smithers was black originally.
Yeah, well,
and then they changed him. And then Flanders was a little more affluent. He was the successful guy, not the religious guy.
And I would say I'll take season 1 Homer over the dumb Homer that they made him into in later seasons. Because season 1
Homer was
had
more aggravated Homer, gruff Homer.
Well, he was like he could read, and he could still, then it just made him so stupid, Homer needs to find his voice before he gets good. Nah, I don't know. I like season 1 Homer. That's when Dan Castellaneta was doing a Walter Matthau impression. That was his first Homer. Anyways. That's it.
I would be tempted to watch the early episodes again.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch them again too, but I do have I think season 1 through 4, I think, on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of fell off getting those as well because they were expensive too. But
so occasionally I see one, but that's the thing. I see one. It's season 3.
Yeah, they were nice looking sets too. You can go check that out on my channel, Buried on Mars on YouTube. Go check out my TV collection, and you can go see those.
What was your latest Blu-ray unboxing?
It's been a while. That's what it's. I think it was Apollo 13. I think, but I need to make a Simpsons Fandango. There's only been one movie.
Yeah, that's a lot of watching.
We can do our favorite episodes, top episodes,
if I remember them.
Yeah. It's been a while. I'd have to rewatch them too. I could do we could do a Sanford and Son because that's all fresh. All right, that's enough. We've been talking for an hour and 44 minutes. We got to stop this. Stop it, chat. Stop interacting with us. Okay, let's wrap this up. Follow us, Retro Fandango, on Twitter at retro_Fandango. Get a boner with Retro Fandango. I do have the soundboard here, but my computer for the soundboard is toast. So I have to find another soundboard option.
You got some dead buttons.
Yeah.
What is that little picture?
Shrug. You said then
That's
I'll
a
pick
shrug.
one. And check out Kevin on the Start to Continue channel every week. That's right. I do the vinyl show over there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure this plug will get waves and waves of traffic over there. But it has been fun going through the vinyl collection. I'm going through them all now. Just going through everything. Because at least 2 people care, I imagine. Richard's not one of them. Discord, go check us out on Discord. Some channels, they just ignore the Discord. They don't care about you. They don't care about what you have to say. But here on Retro Fandango, we want to hear from you. So go over to our Discord community and type away. Let us know what you thought of the Rolling Stones album.
We're gonna get
All right, that's it.
Every comment on the show is gonna be, yeah, Simpsons film tango. Let's do some Simpsons.
Yeah, people love like things announced and that, and then when it comes to actually doing it, are you gonna watch some Simpsons episodes with us? And no, not gonna do that. No. We just want you to announce things.
You know, I probably watched enough of The Simpsons that I could talk about an episode without watching it again. It's just that when it was in that age of syndication, we had The Simpsons was playing like 3 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just like 5 o'clock and then 2 episodes again at night.
I would watch at least an episode of The Simpsons every day back in the day. And then it used to be on 11 o'clock at night, and I would watch it. And then The Daily Show kind of took over that time slot. Jon Stewart came on there, and I started watching that. I was like, ooh, this Daily Show is pretty darn good. Anyways.
Simpsons and Seinfeld, you're right. Those are like big syndication.
Yep.
There were so many shows I watched in syndication where you just go through the whole thing. Cheers and I think Frasier for a while. I think that was toward the end when I was like getting out of.
I never really
watching all these shows.
Watched too much Frasier. That King of Queens, I actually never watched it when it was on primetime. I only watched it in syndication, and even then,
that's how I watched Seinfeld. I never until like the last season. I never watched it, but then as soon as it hit syndication, I was like, "Oh wow, I had been missing this show."
No, I watched Seinfeld.
But then I was able to just go straight through everything.
It's good times. Okay, that's enough. We got to stop this. Goodbye, everybody.
But I got one more comment.
Goodbye, everybody.
Why'd you put the camera on me? I'm in the show. Everyone can see and hear me. I think Kevin left the thing. Kevin hung up on me.
Sorry. This is how you end a podcast. Goodbye.
That's it.